A researcher once described poverty as a storm you're born inside of, long before you ever feel the rain. For decades, we've tried to predict that storm, where it forms, who it hits, and how to stop it. But the tools were too slow, too narrow, too reactive. Then AI arrived. Suddenly, satellite imagery could reveal hidden patterns of inequality. Predictive models could identify communities weeks before crisis. Algorithms could trace the invisible flow of opportunity and where it vanishes. But in the same breath, that same technology threatens to accelerate job loss, widen economic gaps, and leave millions behind data they were never part of. The question isn't whether AI will impact poverty. It's whether it will do so as a cure or a catalyst. Welcome to AI Unlocked, the channel where we explore artificial intelligence, future tech, and the tools that are changing the world. Today, we're diving into, can AI help end poverty? Poverty is often described in numbers, but AI sees it in patterns. Machine learning models analyze satellite photos for infrastructure decline, detect land changes linked to food shortages, and map travel patterns that reveal isolated communities. These systems uncover connections invisible to the human eye, where lack of transport predicts unemployment, where crop failures foreshadow school dropouts, or where housing data exposes future homelessness. For the first time, poverty is not just measured, it's visualized. It becomes a system that can be forecast instead of feared. AI is only as aware as the data it receives, and poverty frequently exists outside the grid. Regions with poor internet access, undocumented workers, people without digital records, and communities living in informal settlements are often missing from datasets. When they disappear, so do their needs. Algorithms fill gaps with assumptions, and assumptions can distort reality. A village without data might look stable, even as it struggles. These blind spots mean that those most vulnerable risk becoming algorithmically invisible, a silent crisis forming at the edge of the digital map. Where the data is complete, AI becomes a tool of precise intervention. Aid organizations use predictive models to identify areas at risk of famine before crops fail. Microloan platforms use alternative credit scoring, analyzing behavior, community ties, and financial patterns to empower entrepreneurs who banks traditionally ignore. Cities use AI to allocate resources based on real demand, not political pressure. The result is a shift from reactive aid to anticipatory support. Intervention becomes strategic, not scattered. But the same technology lifting communities can also destabilize them. Automation primarily impacts low-skilled labor, agriculture, manufacturing, logistics, and service roles that form the backbone of developing economies. When machines become cheaper than workers, companies transition rapidly, often without safety nets in place. Without careful planning, AI doesn't eliminate poverty, it redistributes it. It moves hardship from one region to another, from one industry to another, creating new fault lines in the global workforce. And this is where the real test begins, because the question isn't just what AI can do, but who it listens to, who it prioritizes, and who gets left unheard. As we step into the next phase, the real challenge is understanding whether AI will reinforce old divides or expose them so clearly that they can finally be dismantled. Algorithms need guardrails. Without them, patterns of discrimination baked into historical data become amplified at scale. Loan approvals, housing assessments, insurance decisions, all can be skewed if the system's training reflects past injustice. Researchers are building fairness frameworks designed to detect and correct bias, but these tools require constant oversight. AI doesn't know equity, it knows correlation, and correlation can easily recreate inequality under the illusion of objectivity. Human supervision becomes the moral anchor. AI also opens the door to a new kind of humanitarian response, one that isn't limited by borders. Global poverty mapping systems can identify regions that local governments overlook or intentionally underreport. AI-powered translation removes language barriers between aid workers and remote communities. Predictive health models anticipate outbreaks in areas with weak medical infrastructure. These aren't improvements, they're shifts in capability. Support becomes mobile, adaptive, and proactive. Some of the most effective AI solutions are born in the communities they aim to help. Farmers using mobile-based AI tools to predict rainfall, villagers diagnosing illnesses through smartphone scans, small business owners using AI-driven budgeting tools to stabilize their income. These solutions don't require massive infrastructure, just access. And when locals build and deploy the tools themselves, the impact becomes exponential. Technology stops being foreign. It becomes foundational. AI can illuminate the structure of poverty, but it cannot dismantle it alone. Economic inequality is rooted in governance, policy, culture, and opportunity. AI provides clarity, speed, and precision, but humans make the decisions. The question is not whether AI will reshape the fight against poverty. It's whether societies will choose to use it as a weapon against inequality or as a ladder for those already climbing. The future of poverty reduction will depend on balance. If AI is used to centralize power, the gap widens. If used to empower communities, the gap narrows. It all comes down to intention, oversight, and who controls the systems shaping tomorrow's opportunities. Poverty may be ancient, but the tools to fight it have never been more advanced. Technology alone can't eradicate poverty, but it can expose what's hidden, accelerate what's possible, and reshape where support flows. The future depends on how we wield that power and who we choose to prioritize along the way. If you found this episode insightful, make sure to follow the channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more cinematic deep dives into the forces transforming our world. And in our next video, we shift from survival to expression, AI and the arts, new forms of expression. A journey into how intelligent systems are reshaping creativity, culture, and the meaning of art itself.